because I am not proficient enough at most games to say what is or is not the best. However, for your average Joe who doesn't give a shit about speed runs and finishing the game without getting a single power-up, the weapons you see here are barely an equalizer, because no weapon is good at everything. This weapon is a boss killer, and this option setup is, in my experience, a boss killer. It focus fires that gigantic shot of spherical semen at the boss. And since the boss's weaknesses are generally concentrated in one small area, it kills them fairly fast. Usually about 2 or 3 volleys, full charge volleys. Every other weapon in this game is generally very good at killing enemies, but fuck at killing a boss. So it's just kind of pick your poison. Do you want to get fucked by regular enemies, or do you want to get fucked by a boss? Because one way or the other, somebody is going to force sexual intercourse on you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Generally, that will happen because you either A, got too many speed-ups, which I accidentally did. Oh, and more on that in a second. Or B, just after a while, you're looking at the screen and it's going by so damn slow that you just kind of go, you feel like an alcoholic on Cops. You know, the world just kind of moves around you, but you don't really see it. And so you get hit by a bullet and you die. Go figure. Yes, there's no life bar in this game. I mentioned that, but it's good to really hammer that home. For anybody who likes to have more than one hit before they die, don't play this game, don't pick it up. Watch some other asshole pick it up and get fucked. It'll be so much more gratifying for you. You can sit there and laugh at him, ah, you got cut. And on the speed-ups, that's the issue of speed-ups. Speed-ups are bullshit. You need at least 2 to keep from getting killed by your basic enemies, because they do come in sufficient swarms at sufficient speed to overwhelm your less than impressive starting velocity. That said, getting more than 2 is generally completely worthless because the enemies actually speed up with you. I don't have any, you know, technical specs proof for that, but if you just look at the way the enemies move and how fast they move, watch how fast they move when you start the fucking game. It's not that bad. They're faster than you. But when you get 3 power-ups, you think, oh yes, I can finally outrun them. And then they come onto the screen and you think, wait a minute, I'm only keeping pace with them where I was before. So it becomes a declining returns, decreasing decreasing returns, whatever that term is. And that's pretty much this entire game. There's just a point at which nothing really matters anymore. And that's generally after you get killed after getting your hard-earned options. There is a code to get them back, but it lasts only a certain amount of lives. I'm not exactly sure what the limit is, but there's a point at which you can actually not use the code to get your power-ups, and that's just low. That's just low. With a game this hard, I mean, your regular equipment, you look at Contra, you have the mobility and your basic gun is sufficient. In this game, nothing is sufficient. Fully powered up, you're fucked. I don't know how that works. Fully powering up makes you roughly able to get through a level. Where's the logic in that? Oh yeah, it's a Nintendo game from the mid-classic era, the Super Nintendo era. So it's not as shameless at killing you as some old school Nintendo games would be. But it still doesn't. It still doesn't. Make no mistake, this game is not here for you to really enjoy. This game is here to piss you off enough to think, oh god, I can't finish it just by renting it. I need to buy this shit so that I have the time to waste trying to figure out how to beat it. And be perfectly honest, I've never actually beaten the original. I never really had the stomach. I always got killed at one particular level. And dear God, are your weapons insufficient in that? They're insufficient in this, and they've gotten a dramatic upgrade. I mean, it's the difference between an ant ejaculating and a bull. However, as I mentioned, it's still not enough. And this first boss here, the first real boss, I would say, is a prime example of how pathetically worthless you are, and it's probably illustrative of the mentality behind the game. The story of the game. Because, to be perfectly honest, I can't imagine that any civilization, any galactic civilization, would bet in its entire fucking economy on one fighter jet and one douchebag pilot. No, that screams, in my mind, foul play. It screams ulterior motive. And this is just beautiful. This is just beautiful. This guy can kill you in one hit with any of his basic attacks. And he gets first crack at you! First crack! He has to open his fly before you can shoot at him.